back to my YouTube channel. It feels so nice to be filming for YouTube again because I have been busy on Instagram and TikTok creating new content because I post on those apps every day. So if you're missing out on daily content, then you can follow me over there. But since the weather has kind of changed in the UK, I thought it was a perfect time to do a autumn wardrobe refresh. And I thought it'd be a great idea to do it in the form of a H&M haul because I know you guys love those. I want to start off by saying that this video is not about buying everything that I'm going to show. I personally won't be keeping it all because some of these pieces don't fit my lifestyle, and I feel like I'm quite intentional with what I buy, and since I share a lot of capsule wardrobe content, I really want to make sure that I'm re-wearing pieces that I love but also filling in any gaps that I feel like I'm missing in my wardrobe. As always, everything from this haul will be linked in the description box below, but I also link all of my outfits over on my LTK, which is kind of like a hub where you can shop my wardrobe. I put product recommendations there, and I also link alternatives to anything if it's sold out. I will also include sizing in the description box below just in case that's going to be helpful for you, but for reference I am 5'9" and I usually go for a UK size 8, and in H&M I usually am a small, maybe a medium in some things depending on how I want them to fit. So without further ado, let's get into the haul, and we're going to start off with tops because they are the backbone of every autumn wardrobe. Okay, I am hoping that you can see this okay because in the viewfinder it is not that clear what this is, but it is like a 3/4 length polar neck, and I feel like this is such an underrated piece for an autumn wardrobe. I know it's going to come in really handy for that sort of like transitional weather just because it is really lightweight and it's not like a really thick jumper. It's really soft, and also it's thin enough to not have like a really bulky jumper on. So when you tuck this in with jeans or any sort of trousers, it's going to look really sleek and chic. The inspiration behind this piece actually came from a Pinterest picture that I saw ages ago, and I loved the outfit. It was sort of this style of top with a white skirt underneath, and it sort of looked like a dress. In fact, that one actually might have been a dress, but I thought that in a jumper form will come in so handy across the year because this is a really transitional piece that you can wear throughout different seasons. And yeah, I just thought this is going to go with a lot of trousers and I'm going to get a lot of wear out of it. So in terms of how I'm going to style this piece going into autumn, I'm probably going to tuck it in with some jeans or tailored trousers and probably layer it with a trench coat. Now this seems like a really simple outfit, and it is, but I think it's one of those, if you execute it well, it'll come out as a really classy, chic outfit, and that's exactly what I was thinking with this top. The next piece that I picked up is this grey collared vest. Now I feel like this is more of a trend piece rather than, I would say, a capsule wardrobe piece, just because it's got that sort of like preppy style to it. But something that I do really love about this vest is that it's got the collar and it's also got the buttons, because that just adds a little bit of structure and a bit more sort of flair to this top than a normal sweater vest. I think this is a great piece for your workwear capsule wardrobe going into autumn because it pairs really nicely with wide leg trousers. You could pair them with grey tailored trousers. Navy would also look nice, or you could just stay classic with a pair of black trousers. I definitely think pairing sort of your old basics with something like this, it really helps to revamp that style and kind of makes them look a bit more like brand new again. The next piece is probably the most boring piece. However, we do love a good basic around here, and I feel like this is a great basic to include in your wardrobe. It's this gorgeous like burgundy sort of wine colour, but I would say softer than your typical burgundy, which is kind of the reason I'm a bit undecided whether I'm going to keep it. I love the quality of it and the style is perfect. The colour, however, I feel like it could be a little bit deeper for me who is a winter rather than someone that is an autumn. I think this is a perfect shade if you are an autumn. It's got that softer tone and it just looks a little bit softer on the skin. It's also got some really nice stretch in this top, which again you want in every basic. You want them to be comfortable so that you're going to rewear them over and over throughout the season. I have actually been loving pairing burgundy with grey, and I think it's such a nice combo. It's kind of like a bit of an unexpected combo that really works very well. So I would probably pair this top with a pair of grey tailored trousers, or even grey jeans, like that sort of like washed black jean with a heeled boot or just a simple heel. I just think this is such a pop in autumn, and it is just the colour of the season every year. Okay, the next piece is definitely more of an evening piece, because as you can see, it's this sort of like sheer polka dot top with a high collar, and it's also got this sort of scarf detail at the back. I actually styled this up the other day and I paired it with some tailored black shorts. I also have styled it with a white mini skirt, which I really love that combo, but I feel like that is kind of more summer outfit rather than going into autumn winter. However, if you wore it with a white skirt, you could pair it with some knee-high black boots, and that would give it sort of like an autumn twist. This is definitely one of those tops where if you're going to go meet your friends and they say, what are you wearing? And you don't know what you're going to wear, but they say, oh, why don't we just go for like a nice top and jeans sort of vibe. I feel like this top would come in very handy then. I think it's a really great alternative to sort of your classic bodysuit or your classic shirt. The sort of material and how it drapes is really feminine touch, and as we know, I love polka dots as well. The next piece of the haul is this ribbed polar neck. Now you might be thinking, I've already featured a polar neck in this haul, like why have you bought another polar neck? But in my defence, this is definitely more of an evening piece than the previous one. I feel like this with some jeans would be such a nice outfit for like a date night, girls night. Yeah, I just think it's such an easy piece to style in your wardrobe, especially for autumn, because it's got that high neck and it's such a heavyweight knit that it definitely is going to keep you warm despite not having the arms. Again, the inspiration for this piece was actually from Pinterest. I use Pinterest a lot for outfit inspiration because I just think it's a more sort of refreshing way of seeing some outfit inspiration than watching videos all the time. I've loved Pinterest for years and I always create little boards on there, and I can go back to them whenever I feel a bit uninspired with my wardrobe. But the pieces that I always save on Pinterest are always such classic pieces. So if I'm feeling uninspired with my wardrobe, I know for a fact that I'm going to be able to recreate one of those outfits, and it's going to come off really effortlessly and look really chic because that is the sort of style inspo that I have already saved. So yeah, I have actually been looking for one of these tops for a while, and this one is really nice quality. It's actually from the H&M edition, I think it is. So the H&M edition line, which I'm guessing is more of like a premium line that H&M do. I think it was a little bit more expensive than the other pieces in this haul. However, it was still really affordable, and it is a great option if you want a new going out top. Although now thinking of it, this would also work really well for workwear as well. It doesn't have to be a going out top, and since it's such a nice quality, it will pair really well with your sort of workwear staples. As you might know, on my Instagram and TikTok, I share a lot about capsule wardrobes, and I'm actually doing sort of a series now where I share a weekly capsule wardrobe with you, which consists of 8 pieces of clothing or shoes or accessories, and then I transform that into 7 days worth of outfits. So I think it's a really great way of showing you what you can get out of your wardrobe, but also a lot of those pieces consist of capsule wardrobe staples and things that you're going to rewear over and over again. And a lot of questions that I get are about my striped blue and white shirt. However, I feel like I found a really great alternative, especially for autumn, in this haul. And that is this burgundy and white striped oversized shirt. Again, the colour is very on trend, very sort of on brand for autumn, but it's still a really classic piece that you can style for multiple occasions. I did pick this up in my regular size, so I got a small. However, usually I would tend to go for more of an oversized fit for shirts, but this one on the website, it did say that it's already oversized. And actually, I really like the fit of it. I think it's a really sort of classic fit without looking too oversized. And sometimes, I don't know, recently I have actually thought maybe a few of my shirts are a bit too oversized, especially when I tuck them in and there's quite a lot of material hanging over. So I thought I'll give this a try in a small, and actually I really love it. So definitely go for your normal size in this shirt. This is super easy to style. You could style it under a blazer, you could style it with wide leg trousers, shorts with knee-high boots, or you could just keep it simple with some jeans and keep it really relaxed, but it'll feel really intentional. So I've been desperate to find a good pair of knee-high boots that are flat, comfortable and look more expensive than they actually are, and I finally found a really gorgeous pair from H&M. I'll just bring them a little bit closer so you can see them there, but they've got a round toe, they're walkable, and they've also got a really comfortable sort of heel height. I mean, it's hardly a heel, but I know I'm going to be comfy in these. Personally, I actually like to style knee-high boots with something that is shorter on my leg. So either a pair of tailored shorts or like a mini skirt. I personally just think fits my body shape the best. I also really like a pair of leggings or skinny jeans with them. And I know skinny jeans are such a Marmite piece of clothing, but every year I bring mine out because I just love them and I just think they look so nice with a pair of knee-high boots. Although I am a sucker for a white trainer, I thought this autumn was about time that I sort of switched up my trainer game and I actually experimented with a few more different styles, and that's why I went for these ones from H&M. So they're this sort of like brown with white detail on them. Hopefully you can see them there a little bit better, but they're a very flat trainer. Now I'm sure you've seen on Instagram the aloe trainer that is kind of going a bit viral. I absolutely love that style and I think that is a perfect trainer. However, if you don't want to spend that much on a trainer, then these are a perfect option. They come in about 6 colours, I think. So they're a really affordable option of having that sort of like designer look trainer without the price tag. These trainers did actually recently feature on my Instagram where I did a weekly capsule for university. I thought these were a great piece to add to that capsule because they're such a chic way of feeling comfortable. I think the shade of brown is a really lovely rich chocolate brown, and especially if you have a bag to match this, I think would make the perfect duo for a lot of autumn outfits. Clearly it is the season for knee-high boots, and last year I actually only had one pair of knee-high boots and it was these ones in black and I wore them to death. So they will be coming out again this autumn, but I thought it would be a good idea to get another pair of them, but in a slightly different colour so that I can sort of switch up the outfits. But I know that these are super comfortable to wear and they look super chic. I'll show you a little bit closer as well so you can see the heel height and also the pointed front. I wouldn't be surprised by the time that I post this haul that these are sold out because they sell out every single year and it's so hard to get your hands on them if you want them, but definitely order them if you see them in stock and you want to get your hands on them because they will go, like literally they fly out of the shop. These are a really good staple to have in your autumn wardrobe, especially if you want to sort of base your outfits around looking chic, because these are so versatile. In fact, more versatile than I ever thought they would be because I wear them with jeans. So the jeans I've actually got on now, these go on really nicely underneath these jeans, and even though you wouldn't think so because they're not super wide leg, you actually can't tell that you're wearing knee-high boots. So they kind of double up as like an ankle boot and a knee-high boot. Also, again, I feel like it comes down to colour preferences. If you're not really a kind of like all black outfit girl, which I definitely am, but if that's not for you, then this sort of dark chocolate brown is a really nice alternative to soften your outfits. So the last piece that I picked up for this haul is this really lovely sort of minimal 90s inspired shoulder bag. I'll bring it a little bit closer so you can see the shade and also the shape of it, but it's got a zip at the top, it's got enough room for sort of your everyday essentials, and I just think it has that sort of designer-esque vibe that it looks more expensive than it is. Now this is a phrase I use so much, I get sick of myself repeating it, but honestly the pieces that I tend to go for from the high street, I often just think like, I want it to look more expensive than it actually is, and that's why I have this sort of whole chic sort of outfit ideas that are still affordable. Personally, I would just keep it really simple with this bag because this bag does all the talking with the little details that it's got going on and the gold hardware. But yeah, I would keep it really simple and sort of go for that like off-duty model look. I think paired with a pair of tortoiseshell sunglasses to tie in with the chocolate brown, I think would be really nice and just look like a really chic but simple and relaxed outfit. I did also just think that this is such a thin sort of bag that this will be perfect for travelling. So when I do these capsule wardrobe videos and people are commenting like, oh my god, you've used so many bags in this, it's actually because I go for bags like this that you can fit in your suitcase and they come in really handy so that you can take multiple bags away with you and sort of change up the basics to make them look like a completely different outfit. So I hope you've all enjoyed the H&M haul. That is the end of the haul, and I feel like H&M's collection this year is a lot more wearable than it has been before. I think there's really great base layers that I've included in this haul, but also kind of like standout pieces with the striped shirt and the polka dot top. Let me know in the comments down below which piece was your favourite, because I'd be really intrigued to know if it's the same as mine. As a reminder, I will be linking all of the pieces in the description box below so that you can shop them directly without any hassle. But also, if you want to shop my other outfits, then you can go to my LTK, which I'll also post in the description box below. If you do want to see these pieces styled a little bit more, then I would suggest following me on Instagram and TikTok. It is the same username as my YouTube one, Lydia Fleur Fashion, and I also will link those links down below. But I have used some of these pieces in my recent weekly capsule wardrobe, so if any of you are going to college or uni or even starting a new job, I feel like it actually would be applicable to that too, and you could kind of tweak the capsule to be more fitting for workwear. But yeah, you can head over to my socials to see that weekly capsule, and hopefully it'll offer you some inspiration for the new season. Before you click off this video, don't forget to hit subscribe down below. It genuinely means the world to me, and it means that you won't miss my next upload. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you all have a lovely day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!